Hey now, Brawlers, it's time for another Board Game Brawl review with Nick Minahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com.
Alright, today we're going to take a look at Doodle Quest from Blue Orange Games. And don't you just love that name, Doodle Quest? That, for me, it just makes me want to play it right away just hearing the name. Then again, I'm a grown man-child, but I think that a lot of people would agree with me. And what the game is right there in the title. You are doodling in this game. Specifically, there's going to be these tiles out in the center of the table, big cardboard tiles, that depict underwater scenes. That's this version of Doodle Quest. I'm sure there'll be more versions in the future with different themes attached to them, but this scenes like there's starfish floating around in the water, or you have to avoid like pollution in the water, or might be the jaws of a shark, or a bunch of sharks swimming around an old wrecked pirate ship. In any case, you're going to have a transparency with your own marker and your own board that is blank, and you have to try and trace certain lines and symbols, or even trace fish symbols that are supposed to match up to the scene that is depicted. It's actually easier to show you than just to talk about it, so let me give you a brief run through of how the game's going to work, then we're going to come back. I'll let you know what I think. Alright, this is pretty much everything you need to play a game of a Doodle Quest. Here you have this transparency, which is only for scoring. The game is going to be played for 6 quests, so yeah, see over here on the side. And the game is for up to 4 players. You have material for 4 different players to play the game. Every player will have one of these blue cardboard pieces, and then also a transparency of their own, a blank transparency, a dry erase marker, the eraser itself, and then a fish stencil, which will be used for certain quests, but not all of them. Certainly not all of them. Then you'll have a big stack of these quest cards, and there's much more than what I have here. I just grabbed 3 that I wanted to show you as examples. Now, how this is going to work, what you're trying to do is you're trying to score points. Now, each one of these cards represents a different quest, and every quest is, the quest cards are two-sided. You have the simple, basic side, which is for younger players, and then you have the more advanced side, which is always going to be the black numbers. And it will tell you a little bit of flavor text at the top of the card. Like this one is, you have discovered a treasure near a sunken ship. And then it will tell you at the bottom what you're supposed to do for this quest. For instance, this one here says, draw a line. Well, let me sort of focus in there just a little bit so I can show you what I mean. Draw a line to collect as many pirate trinkets and coins as possible without touching the bones. Now you might say, well, how is this going to work? Are we actually drawing on top of this? No, you're not. What you're trying to do is draw on your own personal transparency to match whatever the quest is. Every player is going to be doing this simultaneously. There's no time limit, although I suppose you could do that if you really wanted to. But you're just going to keep going until everyone is done. And then you're going to take whatever you've drawn on the transparency and overlay it. As you can see, there's a black box on both your personal transparency and the quest map. You'll overlay it and see what you came up with. Let me go ahead and just do this, which I'm going to do laughably horrible on this, I'm sure. So I'm trying to avoid the bones and only get the trinkets. Now, I just have to eye it and try to use an estimation and from my perspective as to what I'm trying to do here. You can't do any shenanigans like doing little measurements and things like that. You just have to eyeball it. So I'm going to do horrible on this, I know it. So I'm just trying to draw a line. I already did horrible. I forgot what I was even doing. All right. Okay. I'm just rushing through this. No. Oh boy. No way. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. I guess it's got to be a long, continuous line. Sure. Oh boy. Okay. Sure. Whatever. There's my line. So now I'm going to compare it to this and see just how badly I did. Okay. Actually, I did pretty horribly. I did awfully. In fact, I'm going to declare this the worst round of Doodle Quest I've ever played. So I get -1 point for every bone that I crossed. 2 points for all the treasure that I was actually able to nab, which means I actually didn't do all that badly. So I got, what, 2 points, 4 points, 6 points. I'll say that I missed that one. A lot of this is just sort of judging Okay, so whatever. Yeah, I got that many points and then minus points. So I didn't do very good here, but that's how these things generally go. Now, some of these are actually going to use that fish stencil. So here we have the 3 big fish went to migrate to warmer waters. Is there enough room for all? Use the stencil to draw 3 fish in the open water without hitting any plants or animals. So, okay, here, you want to see me humiliate myself again? Where's my stencil? Clear it off. Start the new quest. You'll score your points for the round after you go through each quest. Player by player, and then, all right, draw 3 fish. I could do this. I could do this. I'm doing this so quickly, there's no way. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I'm on the basic side. I didn't even realize that. I'll probably still screw it up. All right. That's plenty of room, actually. We'll see. All right. I can't hit any plants or animals. All right. And then one more. Sure. I got this. I got this. It's all me. Okay, let's see how I did. I'm pretty sure I also did horribly. Oh boy. Well, okay, I got 2. I got 2 and I hit that rock up there. So, yeah, that's good enough. And that's going to now me 6 points. Now, some of these will also give you extra points because it'll be little starfishes that you're trying to hit. And I won't bother doing this one, but this one's kind of funny. You have to actually draw the lines indicating the whale's teeth up and down and trying to just stay in the pink, stay away from his actual physical body. So that's just some of the examples of the quests you're going to be undergoing. It's purely just trying to draw and draw lines, draw stencil fish, sometimes drawing bubbles, trying to connect certain objects, getting extra points somehow, losing points for going outside of the lines or things like that. You're going to do this 6 times using the maps that you want, randomly, however you choose to, and scoring points each time. Whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. That's Doodle Quest. The first thing I have to say about Doodle Quest is that it's just innovative. I mean, it really is. I know that there are other drawing games out there, and a lot of them are very clever, but this is the one that I've played that has probably just been the most interesting to me. And also at the same time very simple, which makes it even more interesting in a way. I don't even know how to describe it. I guess you would describe this as like sort of short-term memory estimation. You're looking at this this image out in the center of the table and then just trying to line up your drawing to it, and it's like, okay, yeah, no problem, I guess, and then and you're looking back and forth trying to get it going, knowing that if you overthink it, it's not going to make it any better, and also knowing that some people have a natural proclivity for this type of thing. But I should say that while every group that I played with, there's always at least one person in the group who was like, okay, I'm terrible at art, I'm a bad drawer, this is just going to be terrible for me. But those people usually ended up doing just fine because it's not about being a great artist. Like I said, it's more about just being a good estimator and just being able to judge things on the fly and very quickly. There's no time limit in this game, and that's the other thing. Everyone said, well, there's no time limit here. It's like, well, no, it's not about being pressured. It's just about trying to, it's almost push your luck in a way, like, do you go for those starfishes or not? Or, just trying to do your best and knowing your limitations and the fallibility of your perspective, I guess. I'm probably making this game sound more complicated than it actually is because it is super light. It's so light it could just float off the table. The rules are one sheet of paper. And for that reason, it really is more of a family weight child's game. You have the different sided boards, which are either the simple or the advanced mode. And honestly, I would just go ahead and play with the advanced mode. It's not that much more complicated than the child's side, and that's what I always played as. But even looking at some of the child side, or I don't know if the better word for it is the basic side, looking at some of those, some of them look just as complicated as some of the advanced side ones. That's just my opinion. But it is interesting. I think that some people are just not going to like the game. They're just not. Even if they accept that, okay, I don't need to be a good artist to do well at this, there's no such thing as making like a deeply strategic move in this game. You're either going to do well or you're not. You're either just going to like just do horribly or you're not. But you have to be aware that most people at the table, while some people are going to be naturally good at it, some people are just going to do as bad as you are. And that's just what it's all about. It's just sort of that the whole reason to play this game is that moment when you're just like, okay, I'm done. This is what I got. Let's see what happens. And then the anticipation of seeing how well you did. That is the key selling point of this game, I think. It's the part that I had the most fun with. And while that might not be for everyone, I think that for families, for kids, for people who like doing creative things but are not necessarily good at doing creative things, this game will be a big hit. I think that it already has been. For me, I think that I'll be more interested in it when I see what else they can do with this relatively simple system. I want to see it with different themes. I want to see it applied to different, more complicated types of games as well, because that is the part of the game that I'm the most in love with, is just the idea of this and how innovative that it is. And I am certainly happy that I was able to give this one a shot. That is Doodle Quest from Blue Orange Games.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.